Hello Art 2. So just a reminder, this video is a quick demonstration, a quick reminder of how to make a 3-inch grid on your 9-inch by 12-inch watercolor paper for your watercolor techniques. So the first thing you'll do is I'll give you a piece of paper that is already cut down 9 by 12, and then you will line your ruler up on the edge of the paper. Make sure, once again, that you use the first line of the inch, not the edge of the ruler. And then you're going to make a mark at the 3, the 6, and the 9. And then you're going to slide your ruler right down the page. Again, make sure it's lined up on the 0, and make sure that you just look at the ruler to make sure it's pretty parallel with the edge of the page. And then you'll make the same 3 marks. The 3, the 6, and the 9. And then you will go ahead and connect those across the whole page. Now, typically when you're gridding, you draw your line pretty light because you will be erasing part of the grid. For this particular exercise, you can draw your lines darker because the grids are actually separating the different techniques. So it's okay if those grid lines are kind of dark. I would not make them crazy dark, just so that you don't get out of the habit of drawing them lightly. But it's okay if they're darker than normal. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make 3-inch marks on the other sides of our page as well. So I've got my ruler lined up here at the very edge, if you can see that. So then I've got my 0 once again on the short side. Got my ruler lined up so it's parallel. And then I'm going to make a mark at the 3. And I'm going to make a mark at the 6. And I'm going to move my ruler down to the other edge of the page. Line it up so it's parallel and it's at the 0. And I'm going to make a mark at the 3 again and at the 6 again. And then I'm going to draw those lines across. Make sure you hold your ruler toward the middle so that as you press against it with your pencil, you don't cause the ruler to shift or slide, which will make your line not where it needs to be. So then I would have my squares all over my entire page so that I can do a different watercolor technique in each square. And then what you'll be doing is using the links and videos that are posted with this particular demonstration on Google Classrooms to do a different watercolor technique in each square. You do want to label the squares. So for instance, you are required to use the salt technique, the alcohol technique, wet on wet technique, and lifting technique. So those 4 are required, and then the other 8, you get to decide which ones you want to use. So what you'll do is you'll look at the videos, you'll look at the links, you'll look at the example, and you'll decide which other 8 you want to do and label them similarly. And then once they are all labeled, you can go in and you can start doing those techniques. And just so you know, I do have some example that I have worked on from other classes, just so that you can see some of those techniques. So here's one page, and now it's horizontal, but you can still see the effects and everything. So I've got oil pastel here, which is a crayon chalk or wax resist. This is using the squirt bottle. This is the alcohol drops. These are watercolored pencils. This is using salt on different things. This is a water-soluble marker. And then this is the sponge painting with tissue paper. And this is regular tissue paper. So on this one, I painted the blue, let it dry, painted the pink, and then sponged it up with my tissue paper. So you have lots of different options that you can use, but you want to make sure that you label the ones that you are using so that I can help you see whether or not you are using them correctly. And I will be adding more demos as I get some time, but I want you all to feel free to experiment a little bit with the links that I have provided first.